Hi guys. So for my advanced students, you can go through and watch the stuff I've done for the younger levels. Definitely don't need to go into details. We've done a lot of that starter stuff in our lessons. One thing that you guys are all struggling with is two things. You actually, all my advanced students, you have two issues. It's really funny that you all have the same issues. One, sometimes you're messy. Actually, it's three. It's actually three, I just realized. So we're sometimes messy. When our temples are not even, which means you're not working with your metronome. And third, sometimes you guys, I feel like you're not getting to the bottom of the keys, right? It's very, very light. But for scales, you really want to get that sense of weight in your scales. You want to get right to the bottom. There should be a sense of purpose behind when you play scales. So I want to talk about scales, how to practice them. So we've talked about how there's three tempos, right? There's your performance tempo, which is your fast tempo. There's your sight reading tempo, which means like you can kind of get through, but there's always mistakes. And then there's your learning tempo, which we're all guilty of. It's not just you guys. We're all guilty of never practicing. Now, for those who don't know what practice tempo means that it's so painfully slow that you can see what you're doing before you do it. So this week, what I want you guys to do is to take your time and to slow everything down. Like literally, because I feel like some of you guys, you've been playing your scales for a long time and it's almost a subconscious thing, right? You're easily distracted when you do it. I know some of you guys have admitted that you guys are actually scrolling through Instagram when you're doing technique or you're reading something. We've all been guilty of it. But this is a great opportunity for you guys to really take that time and slow things up, slow things down, those things up. What is that? Slow things down and really take an opportunity to really understand and physically feel what you guys are doing. Because I know myself, one thing with scales is sometimes I do them so quickly, and I've been playing them, since I was 3 and I'm 40. So that's a lot of years that it's a subconscious thing. I'm not even quite aware of what I'm doing. So it's really good to kind of take a moment and just take your time and see what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because if you do, it'll be a lot easier. So this week, like I said, do a ton of slow motion. Make sure you use the metronome. So put it on at 60. Don't do it too fast. Do it nice and slow. For some of you, it's going to be, I know you guys like playing fast. It's going to be kind of hard to do it, but it's going to be really, really helpful. And do it hand separate. Yes. Do it hand separate, which is, again, it's going to be kind of hard for you because some of you guys, I know when I was, I do it hand separate now, but when I was younger, and especially in university, and my teachers told me, do it nice and slow, I'd be like, yeah, but I never would. So take your time, do it hand separately, and just kind of go through. Now, most of you guys have a schedule of what scales and chords and stuff like that. And what I'm saying, it's not just for scales. You can use it for chords. You can use it for your arpeggios, all these things. Take this week to do everything really slow motion and very, very, very slow. And next week I'll have a different lesson for you guys to do. But yeah, take this week to do that because I think it's going to really, really help you. And as for going back to scheduling, for some of you, you already have, I have written in your notebooks sort of a weekly schedule. And for those who are not my students, if you happen to be watching this is a really good thing. So if you're doing RCM exams, the list is daunting, isn't it? Right? You look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to practice all this stuff. Like I remember being, doing my grade 8 or grade 9, even into grade 10, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to practice all this stuff. Oh, how am I gonna get through this? And so what I actually would find is I would only practice the same scales and chords at like over and over because I could never get through the entire list, right? Because you've got a lot of stuff to work on. So really spread it out. And if you're not sure, hit me up. I have templates for all of this, so you can kind of see how to organize it. So what basically I do is I separate everything into different days. I do a 5-day schedule. for my students, and you kind of run through everything at least once or twice in the week. And it's very helpful for myself. It was done by Edward Parker, a very well-known teacher here in Vancouver. He had done it many years ago just for ARCT, but then I took that and I simplified it for all the grades, because I find that even the younger ones, you know, like if they're doing a half-hour lesson, especially if you're an advanced student and you are teaching, this is something to think about with your younger ones too. Your kids will be more likely to practice their skills if they only have to do so many a day. Whereas if you give them the whole list and tell them practices daily, they probably won't. So again, it always goes back to less is more. So yeah, just a few ideas I wanted to hit up with you guys. Next week I'm going to talk about building speed and clean speed, in the sense of that there's accuracy in your notes. And so yeah, every week I'm going to be doing a different little thing so you guys can work on it. Hope it gives you some ideas. Again, if you have any questions, you can call me, you can text me, you can email me, whatever, Facebook me, whatever is easier for you to do. But we're going to get through this. Thank you so much, guys.